Okay, the first thing you're gonna need is a wooden circular piece of wood. You don't have to buy wood and cut it in a circle. Home Depot, Lowe's, hardware stores will sell them. 24 inches standard, about 10 bucks. I'll put a link to all these things in the post. I got an inch thick with a rounded edge. It gives some rough grip so it'll be easier to turn. Next thing you need is a Lazy Susan circle. It's got a spinny part here and screw holes here, here, and here for attaching it to the wooden circle. And finally, you're gonna need some screws. I got a 1/2 inch number 8 flathead Phillips head screws that should do the trick. So let's get to figuring out how to do this. Okay, so the challenge here is you'd like it to be centered. It won't be horrible if it's off-centered, but board gamers and people in the board game industry tend to sort of be a little OCD, just like me, and I'd like for it to be as centered as possible. So how do you find the center of a circle? Well, the trick is you get a piece of paper like this, and you fold it perfectly in half. You want this to be right down the middle. You want these corners to be exactly half, as best you can make it. That's the key to getting it in the middle. And then you open it up and you put the corners so they're touching the edge of your circle. Here and here. You want to flatten it out, make sure it's as perfect as you can get it. Then you draw a line, draw a dot here, and you draw a dot here on your board. Then remove the paper and use a straight edge to draw, line up with the dots, and then use a pencil to draw a line all the way through the middle of the board. You want it to be, that line to go through the middle of the board and to be bigger than the inner circle of this, just a big line through the middle. Then rotate your board and do it again. It doesn't have to be 90 degrees. It can be anything, 120, 120, 120, however you want to do it. I do 3 lines to just make sure. And what you end up with, let me flip the board here. Is this bunch of lines with meeting, hopefully, very close to the center of the board, going right through each other. And the second piece is, okay, now you found the center of the board. How do you center this circle on the center of the board? What I did is I measured the inside diameter of this and found it was just under 10 inches. It was 9 3/4 inches. That actually worked out better than millimeters because the hash marks on the ruler I had were more defined for inches. It didn't have millimeters all the way out to like the 24-inch distance. So you divide that in half, and then you measure from the center out to half. So half of the 9 3/4 was 4 7/8. So I measured from here to here and made a mark at 4 7/8 and did that all the way around for all 6 parts of the line. And now you've got lines on the radius coming out from the center, and you can simply align your disc so that they are just inside or just on each of those dots. And now you're going to have a disc that's centered perfectly, and you just screw your screws in here, here, and here, and flip the table over, and you've got a nice Lazy Susan for your this and other board games. Okay, I've gone ahead and screwed this in. I just used a Phillips head screwdriver, didn't need a drill. I actually tightened it a little too tight so that when I did this, it didn't spin as freely. So make sure you don't over tighten, loosen it up if you need to. And we'll see how it goes on the table. Okay, here we are on the table, and it's spinning very well. Looking at the corner and how far it moves up and down, you know, this token, it's pretty close to being in the middle. There's a little bit of movement, but you're not going to get perfect without machines, etc. But it's pretty good. Spins as freely as you want. You don't want it to be too free, but if I spin a little bit, it'll eventually stop. Let's see what it looks like with the game on it. And here we go. This is what it looks like all set up. figures and game pieces on the board. You can see if you're playing solo, you can spin the board to take a look at whatever side you need to. Very easy to move, very easy to rotate, and does not tilt any way. I've got a neoprene mat on the game table. The game table I made myself, by the way. There's a thread in the do-it-yourself forums. I'll link that below as well. But the neoprene is not preventing, it's not sinking down. There's space under here so that if you play with the expansion, you can put the guild token, not tokens, but boards, the guild boards on the side of the map down here. I guess my only concern would be if it would wobble or not, but it's looking very, very stable. So I'm quite happy with this. Hope this is helpful. Have a great time.